Off here.
And we're going to talk about some Fisher and how Phil Jackson has not followed the rules correctly, but yet it has still came out in the best for everybody.
Yes, so we'll talk about player coaches. So an example of this would be Jason Kidd, who just finished his career as a player and now he's a coach. And we'll go to the lines in a minute, but first, Jordan, what do you think of? Would you rather a more experienced coach who's been out of the league for a while, comes back in and has been coaching for a long time, like Greg Popovich, or would you go with someone like Jason Kidd, who's just entered the league, just entered the coaching job right from being a player, no experience coaching before? All he has is been coached but has actually been coached. He's never actually coached.
I like it that he has had more. I like the younger people because they've had more experience and they can actually tell, okay, this is what the game is like now. Because the game now compared to the game 30 years ago is so different. Yes, some people can be able to do that, such as a Greg Popovich or a Steve Kerr. But with Jason Kidd and with Derek Fisher, they are so much closer to the actual age of all the players.
I agree with that, yeah. All right, let's see if we can go to the lines here. Get a caller in. Do we have a caller? All right, we seems like we do have a caller coming up very soon, and they're going to talk about what their opinion is on Fisher and the Knicks and player coaches. Let's see, do we have a caller coming on? We do not have a caller coming on, so... Oh, here's a caller. Let's see if we can get this. Here we go. Hello. Hey, who's your name? What's your name and who you call? Where are you calling from?
This is Frankie from San Antonio.
Oh, San Antonio, home of the Spurs.
So,
all right, let's see.
So, with being a big Popovich fan, do you think that the older coaches or the younger coaches are better for the future of basketball?
I think that the younger coaches definitely bring a different mentality to the teams that the older coaches probably can't provide. You know, you get like a Jason Kidd out there, somebody who just came off the court. He probably has a connection with a lot of those players. If it gets in a tight situation, I mean, he's been out there just a year ago. I mean, he was out there on the court in the same shoes that they were in. So it kind of brings like a different aspect to the game that not necessarily an older coach or somebody that never played could tell about.
So if you're on a team, right, and your coach was no longer there, would you rather a Pop or a Jason Kidd come to your team? Who would you rather have as your coach?
I think when you put like Coach Popovich against Jason Kidd, that's an easy decision. I don't think anybody would turn down Coach Popovich as a coach. He's probably the greatest coach of all time. But I think going forward in the future, that younger coaches coming straight out of the league definitely provide some versatility for teams.
All right, well, thanks for calling in. We loved your enthusiasm and we loved your insight.
Thank you for calling. All right, let's move on to hockey. The Kings right now have a 3-0 series lead on the Rangers in New York, and we have a special guest coming in very soon to talk to us. But right now, let's talk hockey. Jordan, who do you think? Do you think the Rangers can pull it out and maybe make a game in Game 4? I think the Kings are just going to run away.
Yes, the Kings are the better team, and yes, I do think that they will win this series. But really, I do think that the Rangers will pull a game out. They will salvage a game or else they are so fired up. They are so annoyed that they cannot get anything. I mean, they've gotten in Game 2, they had 4 2-goal leads. You cannot keep that going on and then lose.
Yeah, well, Lundqvist, he's pretty good, but not good enough, I guess, for the Kings. They had some pretty interesting goals last night. A lot of power plays for both teams, especially the Rangers, who could not score. Even when they had their goalie out, Lundqvist was out for 3 minutes. They didn't score one goal, And I saw a lot of different opportunities that the Kings had on the penalty kill to actually score a goal, and they came very close to scoring in the penalty kill a few times.
Well, I've been talking to some people, and they have said that, what the Rangers did this summer was that they started, they just went onto the ice. They didn't do anything off the ice. They didn't really do any studying before. So what they have been saying is that you should really focus on the stuff that you are not doing well first. And really, that's not what the Rangers are doing right now. They are focusing so much on their defensive end when really their defensive play is not what's the problem. It's their offense. You cannot continue to rely on your 5-on-5 when if you get power play, it's a dead 2 minutes. Nothing's going on, and that's a 2 minutes wasted.
All right, let's go to break. When we come back, special guest Barry Melrose will join us on the phone. You're listening to 103.3. This is Zack Attack, presented by Verizon. Rule the air. And welcome back. Here's Barry Melrose on the phone now. Barry, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you well. How are you guys doing today?
Good.
So how do you feel about? Do you think the Rangers can get back in this series?
Can we salvage a game at least?
You see, I think the Rangers might be able to win 4, given that it's at home, but as we saw last night in that Game 3, the home ice doesn't really mean anything because, you see, the Kings got that 3-0 lead. You know, the Rangers just didn't look good. They couldn't make a goal on the power play. They weren't playing well. Lundqvist wasn't quite on the top of his game. He's not the goalie that he was playing around the Olympic break. But with the fans behind them and not wanting to get swept and looked embarrassed in the Stanley Cup Finals, the Rangers may win Game 4 at home. But even if they win that, there's not a chance that they can win Game 5 going back to LA.
Yeah, I have to agree with you, Barry. I think that they probably have a better chance of salvaging a game right now than the Kings do winning. But I would like to actually see the Kings go home and win it on their home ice. But regardless, I think they take a win no matter what. I mean, keep in mind the Kings have come back from down to the line of the series. They've overcome a lot, and they were one of the surprises in this playoffs, in my opinion. So with the Rangers, I mean, Boston, they didn't go anywhere. Montreal, they made it pretty far, but I would like to see Boston return to the Cup Finals next year. But for right now, I just don't think the Rangers have enough.
Do you think that with the Kings and also with the Rangers home ice, do you think the fans will be kind of disappointed, or should they come out of this series thinking we should have had this and should look forward to next year?
Well, I mean, the Rangers still have a lot going for them. They still have a good team. Rick Nash is playing well. He hasn't produced as much as they would like this playoffs. You always can't stop Henrik Lundqvist. He's just a solid goalie. He has been for a while. He's not up there with Marty Brodeur or Patrick Waugh, but overall, I think the Rangers fans should still be excited for the future, but they should also be a little bit disappointed that their team hasn't really played very well in this finals. They kind of let them down.
And here's your last question. Do you think that what do you think the Rangers have to do to get back into the series? And who do you think will win the series, and in how many games?
If the Rangers are to get back in this series, they're going to need a couple lucky things to happen. I think Marian Gaborik would have to go down to an injury for anything to happen. Jonathan Quick would have to, just something traumatic would have to happen to get him off his game. But overall, I think the Kings win this series in 4.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Well, thank you, Barry.
Thank you very Barry. All right, that's Barry Melrose, guys. ESPN. Let's wrap things up here. A quick sports update. Tonight, the Heat play the Spurs in the NBA Finals, Game 3. And, of course, the Kings knocked off the Rangers last night, and it's Game 4 on Wednesday night in New York. Thank you for joining us here. I'm Zach Levine.
I'm Jordan Pelly.
You've been listening to 103.3. This is Zack Attack.